Boruto will never be the same again. Last week, the manga community went wild when Boruto Chapter 79 released, and this is what I have been wishing for. I've been biding my time for such a moment to occur, waiting for years till my fellow Naruto fans told me that Boruto got good. I've watched a lot of the anime, read a lot of the manga, and it's no secret that I, like many others, was rather unimpressed with the development of Boruto. While all this will not simply vanish overnight, I do think that the latest chapter, it's bringing this series back up the tiers. The show that some believed would be mid forever is off the flipping chain right now, and I personally believe that it is partially due to the fact that Kishimoto is back in charge of writing again. This is by no means new news, but since he took over at around volume 14, we're on volume 19 now, I can feel the difference. Either way, today is about theorizing and discussion. Please comment your ideas and how you feel about it down below, and I'm sorry in advance if this feels like a rant, because it kinda is. So, here's what went down in chapter 79, and if for some reason you heard me say that and didn't think spoiler warning, I don't know what to do with you, but nonetheless, spoilers galore. This chapter is really the beginning of the end. We all knew this was coming since day one. We had the prophecies, the Kawaki, Boruto flash forward, yada yada yada. So a bunch of the Konoha shinobi are currently trying to track and take down Kawaki. Most importantly, Shikamaru, Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and Sarada, bunch of others, they're all on the hunt. He's not making it easy, of course, for them with his ability to shrink and hide his chakra signature on top of that. But eventually, he starts running out of chakra and is forced to hide, like a normal old guy behind a tree. That's when Ida shows up. Seeing Kawaki almost surrounded through her Senrigan, we also confirmed that her brother can't actually fly. Kawaki told Ida his deepest wishes, his desire to kill Boruto in order to protect the 7th Hokage, how he can't actually kill him because he's the Hokage's son, and how everyone in the village would risk their lives to protect him. He looks at himself as someone who doesn't matter and wishes Boruto wasn't the one he had to kill, his own brother, but he's completely abandoned hope in any other way. He sees the death of Boruto as the only way to protect the village and the Hokage. But his underlying turmoil is that he'll never have what Boruto has. That's at least what I saw in it. I feel that for all he says about trying to, protect the 7th Hokage and, save Konoha in a twisted sense, he really wants what Boruto has, and this is kind of evident. This causes Ida to trigger one of the craziest Otsutsuki abilities we've seen in all of Naruto. Momoshiki realizes and explains what her true power is in this chapter, and I'm personally unsure if she herself is even aware of what her ability truly is. Momoshiki tells us that she does indeed use a Shinjutsu, which allowed her to alter the memories of everyone all over the world. Basically, Boruto and Kawaki switched places in the minds of everyone on the planet thanks to her ability. Kawaki was now the son of the 7th Hokage and Hinata Hyuga, and his name was Kawaki Uzumaki. Meanwhile, Boruto took Kawaki's place as a stranger who has been taken in by the Naruto Uzumaki. The entirety of Konoha remembers Boruto as an ungrateful child who repaid the Hokage's kindness with treachery. And to add icing on the cake, Kawaki tells the Hidden Leaf via Ida that Naruto died by Boruto's hands. Bro, I liked you, but what happened to the days when we were just fixing vases and stuff? Ida's omnipotence power was the biggest shock of all to me, and now that I'm thinking about it, since Amado basically said he implanted specific abilities into each one of them, he should have known about the omnipotence, right? Maybe there's something I'm not thinking about, but that just kind of came to mind. Like I was saying, Ida's omnipotent power was the biggest shock of all to me. I had always interpreted the prophecy as the village being destroyed, maybe the deaths of all those closest to Boruto, but it's a rather dark twist of events to literally become forgotten. Boruto is on his way to becoming the true Shadow Kage. Are Ida's eyes those of the prophecy? When Momoshiki first tells Boruto that those blue eyes shall take everything from you, could he have been talking about Ida's blue eyes? It would make sense, Speaking of which, Momoshiki is on a run, uttering some of the most chilling lines in the chapter. When he said, "Have you never contemplated how many times an Otsutsuki who became a god may have previously manipulated mankind's memories?" I'm like getting chills. Seeing Mitsuki actually snap and go after Boruto instead of Kaoki was also a crazy thing to see. This chapter marks such a momentous moment in the life of Boruto Uzumaki. This all reminds me of that one Boruto quote from way back. Like, when he said, "I'm a ninja." Back then, I didn't give a damn about ninja. The Hokage is the top ninja of the village. But this isn't a tale about a boy who aims to become Hokage. That was my dad's story. This is none other than my story. However, since I'm the Hokage's son, I can't help that my dad ends up being involved in my story. The shinobi whose dream came true, the Hokage, and my story begins when I was a brat who sulked about his dad not paying enough attention to him. I'll say this one more time. This is my story, except for just a little bit at the start. It's the story of me and my dad. And yeah, I'm really excited. It feels like we've been reading a prologue this whole time. While slow at first, the manga really got to the point way faster than the anime did, so I'm so glad that I made the switch and just started reading, and I'll probably watch it too eventually. But I read somewhere it's like 90% filler in the anime, which is ridiculous. I don't think it's as bad filler as some of the old Naruto filler where it was just completely unrelated. Like, it does do some stuff where it maybe fleshes out some characters, but having anime-only characters is just weird for me, and having full arcs that don't actually have any real consequences to the story is just kind of annoying. It doesn't get, the pacing feels all messed up. But certain things have been cool in the anime, like just getting to see that Boruto going back in time and meeting Jiraiya Sensei for the first time. Now, theories. What do I theorize? So let's not forget that Sarada, for whatever reason, isn't affected by the Shinjutsu. And because of that, I suspect Sumire won't be affected either. I also think that Sasuke will be able to deduce that something's off, especially since Sarada's probably going to try to convince him, like, ASAP. If he comes into contact with Boruto, he'll notice his headband as the one Boruto wears. Barring the possibility that he stole it, which would be nearly impossible, Sasuke has got to pick up on those little inconsistencies. And finally, in the intro to Boruto, we see Boruto wielding Sasuke's sword, which unfortunately makes me think that Sasuke will indeed die, making Sarada the last Uchiha and possibly giving her, reason for her Mangekyo Sharingan or whatever. We know he's not strong enough to beat Kaoki as he is, especially with the loss of his Rinnegan. But at the same time, Kaoki doesn't necessarily have any relationship with Sasuke either, one that would warrant him keeping Sasuke alive like he did with Naruto and Hinata. Should Sasuke become an enemy of Kaoki, in all likelihood, Kaoki would kill him. It's needless to say, Boruto is in a pretty dangerous situation. Just imagining the scene where Himawari meets Boruto and has no memory of her brother breaks my heart. I honestly have so much high hopes for her, even more so than Sarada actually, because she's sort of a sleeping giant in Konoha right now. And this video isn't even about her, but just being the daughter of Naruto and Hinata already awakened her Byakugan, and then Damon's reaction a few chapters ago to her presence foreshadows a lot. I have a feeling Boruto is going to end up having to go to Mount Myoboku, team up with Kashin Koji possibly, or at least get trained there, which would make a lot of sense, especially since their backstories are reversed. And I'm not really sure how Mount Myoboku works, whether it's another plane or exactly. I assume Ida can see it, but hey, maybe she can't, just like sometimes certain planes she can't actually see into other worlds and stuff like that, which would be a really good starting place or base of operations for this whole time skip to happen. Speaking of team-ups, Momoshiki is giving me a Naruto Kurama vibe. We already know he values the body of his vessel a lot, so I definitely see him lending Boruto his power and maybe even knowledge if it comes down to surviving, the hidden leaf, hunting him down. On top of that, I'm interested in how Code is going to react to this whole situation, because he's kind of like a third party in this whole event now. I personally think that he hates Kawaki more than Boruto. I don't know how this whole, backstory swap is going to work out, if that's going to get transferred to his hate of Boruto. But as it is, Code should definitely have more against Kawaki. But then, like I said, now that's Boruto. And it's already becoming too confusing. I think Amado still has a lot to hide. His story is plausible, but I also don't see why he would be so secretive about it in the first place. On top of that, when Shikamaru asks Ida to confirm whether he has a daughter or, confirm these facts, she doesn't really give us any information, just saying that, like, this person did exist and yada, yada, yada. It's like, we don't really know anything about this guy who, like, is experimenting on Otsutsuki. Where do you even get the Otsutsuki? You know what I mean? Sasuke's been out traveling for years. Way before, like, he's been going to different planes and stuff, trying to find any remnants of Otsutsuki, any information, and somehow this scientist just, like, finds the body of this. There's a lot to unpack, I believe. He definitely has more secrets. I am sure of it. And I, for one, wouldn't have a problem with seeing Amado as in-game villain. He definitely has the makings for it. And hey, we need that role to still be fulfilled. Just like Code said, he has somewhat been leading Kawaki on this whole time. He still possesses, I believe, he still has the phrase to shut down Kawaki. And I'm not really sure how the shutdown mechanism that Amado planted in Kawaki is going to work now that their stories have been somewhat changed, since Kawaki is now Uzumaki. Is he going to think to himself, like, why do I have a shutdown code in the Hokage's son? You know what I mean? Or why is the shutdown code not working in Boruto, this infamous guy that, I've been experimenting on my whole life? I really don't know how Amado is going to react to this whole, this drastic change. His qualities as a villain really outweigh everything else. Like, he's definitely, he's a good villain. But knowing this is Boruto, I'm sure it's not going to be a death match. However, if it really goes down that route, we're in for some good fights. So I still kind of have a feeling this is going to be more some I'll change your mind, bring you back to the light, brother type vibe. Naruto literally, no matter what Sasuke did, Naruto was constantly trying to bring Sasuke back. It was never like he was actually finna kill Sasuke. And Boruto is definitely different, but he still kind of has that vibe. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it really takes a darker tone or if it still stays kind of to that same theme, which I believe it will. Daemon is a problem right now. However, if you have someone, I'm hoping Himawari fight him without killing intent, which is like 90% of Naruto characters, his ability itself shouldn't pose too much of a problem. Add long range attacks and don't get in melee range with him, he should be subdued rather easily. Chapter 80 will be releasing this April. I feel like I'm gonna go crazy waiting monthly for this to drop, but I will be patiently waiting new Boruto Shippuden arcs. Matter of fact, it wouldn't make any sense to call it Shippuden. I think it's gonna be called Boruto Raiden. Sounds so much cooler, but yeah.